You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored, the second half hour. Now, the Wall Street Journal reports that Facebook has studied the impacts of Instagram on its users over the years and has found it negatively impacts young girls, teenagers at a high rate. And it's often associated with depression and suicide. That report also revealed Facebook had that information and did nothing with it for at least 2 years. But is it their job to do anything with it? We let our panel tackle that tonight. And our guests are here on The Factor Uncensored to talk about this issue involving Facebook and Instagram. Todd, are you at all surprised that Facebook knew the impact that Instagram could have on young girls out there?
I'm not surprised at all. I don't think they really care. If you look back at the founding of Facebook, if my memory serves me correctly, when they were in college, that they would just rate women based on hotness and notness or whatnot. So for me to know that they don't care about what type of impact that has on women, especially young girls, I'm not surprised at all. But people have to realize when you have that type of power, when you have that type of platform, you have a bigger responsibility. So Facebook makes a lot of money off of Facebook and Instagram, obviously, but they have a great responsibility to the young people, because as adults, I know not to look at somebody and judge myself off of them, off their success. I know people lie on social media and fake it, but young people might not be mature enough to know that. So Facebook has to realize they're in a great position to make a huge positive impact, but they got to also know they can make a negative impact, and they have to watch that.
Absolutely. Nate, obviously this has been damaging to some young girls out there who have actually said they've considered committing suicide because of what they see and how they're treated on Instagram and other social media platforms out there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think the main thing that everybody has to remember, if you are receiving a service for free, you are the product. You are the product. And even as an adult, we know that it's the highlight reel people are showing and not the behind the scenes footage. But I think that's where everybody has to manage their own mental health, because if we leave it to, the government, corporations, this is where we're at right now. It's about like each parent, and I know I don't have children, but I have to monitor myself. How am I feeling when I'm looking at some things, and what am I thinking? Even about some of my friends, I'll be like, oh, this looks great. Then you have a conversation with them and you hear the real, and it's like, man, how do you, get yourself to stop comparing and despairing, which is really an act of violence against yourself, but we all do it sometimes. So it comes down to self-monitoring, because we can't leave it to the corporations or the government. You got to take care of yourself.
Amber, what about that? It should be left up to us and parents out there to police their children and not rely on Facebook, Instagram, these corporate entities to do it for us.
Well, ever since the age of innocence now is basically as young as you can get online and find out things that your mind is not mature enough or mentally ready to handle or know. And so it's really, we've got to stop putting our kids in front of social media and video games to babysit them so we can go live our best life. Parenting is what's been lost in this whole movement of women's lib. Yes, we want all the equal rights, but who's parenting the children now? And the thing is, we can't leave it up to social media when you have unrealistic expectations. Yeah. And studies after studies after studies show that more than 3 hours of social media on a young mind, 12 to 19, will result in some kind of mental not illness, but strain, anxiety, depression, because as the old joke goes, you're not ugly, you're just poor. And when you're talking about people that can't afford to go get them a new face, it's unrealistic expectations from the beginning that they'll never measure up, and depression is guaranteed to set in.
Todd, is this a time that Facebook, Instagram should consider, and maybe even the U.S. Congress, keeping young people off of social media? When you have someone who has as much popularity, fame, and wealth as Lizzo, who's on there crying as a result of being body shamed or bullied on social media, it's going to be a difficult place for young girls and young boys as well. So should there be a consideration for an age limit?
There should be a consideration, but I don't know if they'll be able to police it, because like everything is about parenting, and parenting is harder in my opinion.
But would that be enough to say, look, we've done our part as Instagram and Facebook. We've set parameters. We've said no children on our social media platform. Now it's up to you parents.
That's probably all that they can do. That's probably legally all that they can do. They can't control what goes on in somebody's household, but they have to make certain provisions, like a lot of people, a lot of young girls said with the filtering and making people look a lot more glamorous than they are, that's negatively affecting their social media. Maybe they limit the filters that you can use. I'm not sure, you know what I mean? But there has to be some sort of effort put in. It is the parents' responsibility, but if I have the power, if I have 1 million fans and I know people are going to follow me, I know I have a responsibility to do something positive with that, even though that's not my child. That's just me personally. But it's a slippery slope. It's going to be hard for them to police it. It starts at the home, but Facebook has to do something to stop this trend, in my opinion.
Studies have also shown how this fragments your mind when you immediately wake up and go straight to social media.
Yeah.
It's not, put some boundaries in place. Maybe you can't control everything, but not jump out of bed and roll over and see how depressed you want to feel today. You know what I mean?
You're right. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, well, I mean, also we have to admit that parents are doing it too. The older kids are doing it too. It's not just the kids. I know I've been guilty of that, where I've had to say, okay, we're not going to just jump onto social media. Or if I'm scrolling through, you know, all the fitness influencers, this and that, and then you don't realize, oh, they didn't mention that they had some weight loss surgery, or they have the shrinking, this and that. I've been doing the same juice cleanse, and I don't have the same results. So, I mean, we've had that before social media. It was magazines, it's like, I didn't know everything was airbrushed and filtered and this and, and that. But now in the age of enlightenment, we know the information, and people should do things. Corporations should, the government should, but are we going to depend on that? I think it's just way easier to manage yourself than expect anything from a corporation making millions and billions of dollars off of you.
Isaiah, the best thing parents really can do is find those influencers that will show their natural face. Show girls that it's okay to not wear makeup every single time. Show girls it's okay to be natural. Show girls the influencers.
Then you can't trust that.
You can't trust
natural ain't even natural anymore. Natural's not natural anymore. It's all self-confidence and working on yourself, like Nate said.
Yes,
we want to thank you guys for joining us. And the first thing I check in the morning is my email. Not Thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor.